As the last warm days of summer begin to fade, a familiar question starts to whisper in the crisp autumn air. What will this winter be like? It is a question that affects every single one of us. Will we need to dig out our heaviest coats and snow boots? Or will it be a milder season with more rain than snow? The answer matters a great deal. It influences everything from our heating bills to our holiday travel plans. A snowy winter can be magical, creating beautiful landscapes perfect for skiing and cozy nights by the fire. But it can also bring challenges, like difficult commutes and school closures. Everyone, from farmers to city planners, keeps a close eye on these early predictions. The buzz this year is all about a weather pattern with a famous name, LaNina. You might have heard of it before. First, let's talk about what a long-range forecast actually is. Think of it like a weather detective trying to solve a very big mystery. It is not about predicting the exact temperature for a specific day in January. Instead, it is about identifying the overall theme or personality of the coming season. Will the winter be colder than average? Warmer, wetter, drier? Forecasters look at huge, slow-moving clues in the ocean and atmosphere. Sea surface temperatures, high-altitude winds, and seasonal pressure patterns. These clues set the stage for the weather patterns that will dominate for months at a time. Now let's meet the main character in our winter story, La Niña. The name means the little girl in Spanish. It is a natural climate pattern in the tropical Pacific. Strong winds push warm surface water westward and cold, deep ocean water rises near the coast of South America. That ocean cooling has a huge domino effect. It changes air pressure and can disrupt the jet stream, often making the Atlantic jet stream wavier or blocked. For Europe, that blocking often means a big high near Greenland can stop milder Atlantic air from reaching the continent. Instead, it can let very cold Arctic air flow down from the north and east, often called a polar express, bringing freezing temperatures and snow. To understand our future, it often helps to look at the past. History can teach us valuable lessons about what La Niña can do to European winters. Let's travel back to the winter of 2010 to 2011. That season was marked by a strong La Niña event. The result was one of the coldest and snowiest Decembers on record for many parts of the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Scandinavia. Airports were shut down, trains were canceled, and daily life was disrupted. The winter of 2017 to 2018 also had a La Niña. While it didn't start dramatically cold, it ended with the beast from the east, aided by a sudden stratospheric warming that displaced the polar vortex and produced widespread cold and snow. More recently, the triple-dip La Niña from 2020-2023 produced a mixed bag, colder and snowier in places, milder in others. These past examples teach us a crucial lesson. La Niña loads the dice for a colder, blockier winter pattern, but it doesn't guarantee it. Other drivers like Arctic sea ice and sudden stratospheric warming matter too. The exact timing and location of cold outbreaks depend on other, less predictable atmospheric players. You know your starting point, La Niña, and your likely destination, a colder winter, but be ready for detours. So how do meteorologists actually create these long-range forecasts? It is not about looking into a crystal ball. The process starts with observations. Weather stations on land, buoys in the ocean, weather balloons rising through the atmosphere, and satellites orbiting the Earth provide a detailed snapshot of the planet's climate system. This mountain of data is fed into climate models. Complex sets of mathematical equations run on some of the world's most powerful supercomputers. Because small changes can have big effects, they run the simulation many times with slightly different starting conditions, creating an ensemble of possible outcomes. When many members point to the same theme, confidence grows. Forecasters look for recurring themes across models, ECM, WWF, GFS, and others. Cross-model agreement makes the forecast more robust, but it's also an art. Human expertise is crucial. Experts compare outputs with historical La Niña years and other drivers like the QBO and solar activity. Scientists blend the brute force of supercomputers with the wisdom of forecasters to craft a seasonal forecast, a continually refined roadmap for the months ahead. Now for the main event. Based on the current strong La Niña signal and the latest runs from major climate models like the ECMWF, we can start to paint a picture of the 2025-2026 winter in Europe. The overarching theme points towards a higher probability of a blocked weather pattern, persistent high pressure in the North Atlantic. This acts like a giant traffic cop in the sky, stopping mild Atlantic air and opening the door for colder air from the Arctic and Siberia to spill southwards, especially during December, January, and February. So what does this mean for different parts of Europe? Let's break it down. For Scandinavia and the northern mainland, the pattern strongly suggests a colder than average winter. Prolonged freezing and significant snowfall. Great news for ski resorts, but residents must prepare for a classic, harsh Nordic winter. The early signs point to an early start, potentially late November and lasting through February with the potential for memorable cold snaps. Next, we'll look at Central Europe and the Mediterranean. Each has its own story. This type of winter forecast isn't just a topic for conversation. It has real-world consequences. It touches our homes. Heating systems will work overtime and energy bills can rise. Efficient heating and insulation matter. Travel is impacted. Check tires, consider winter tires, and carry an emergency kit with blanket, charger, snacks, and a shovel. Flights and trains can be canceled and roads treacherous. Plan extra time and check forecasts before travel. Economically, ski resorts and retailers may benefit, while construction and logistics face delays and costs. Agriculture can be damaged, supply chains slowed, and local councils face higher costs for gridding and clearing snow. Cold weather hits the vulnerable hardest. Check on elderly neighbors and community support matters. But winter also brings joy. Sledding, skating, cozy evenings. Be aware of challenges so you can mitigate them and enjoy the season's beauty. For the United Kingdom and Ireland, a LaNina winter often means being caught in a battle between two giant weather forces. Mild Atlantic air to the west, cold continental air to the east, and Arctic air to the north. The final outcome depends on which wins out. Current forecast favors a blocked pattern, suggesting cold air from the east will have the upper hand more often. Scotland and northern England are most in the line of fire, with frequent frosts, icy conditions, and higher than average chances of significant snowfall. Southern UK, including London and most of Ireland, face a complex picture, a tug-of-war that could create a volatile winter with sharp swings between cold, crisp days and milder, stormier periods. The biggest threat is battleground snow, Atlantic moisture colliding with cold continental or Arctic air, producing heavy disruptive snowfall events. Prepare for both cold and stormy scenarios. Insulate pipes, have shovels and salt ready, and keep drains clear. This winter will keep everyone on their toes. Be ready for blasts of Arctic air or powerful Atlantic storms. For the Scandinavian nations, a strong LaNina forecast is less a question and more an affirmation of cold. Expect early snowpack, abundant snow, and an extended season. Exceptional conditions for winter sports and a need for repeated snow clearing to keep transport moving. Central Europe, Germany, Poland, the Czech Republic, and the Alps. The influence of cold air remains strong, increasing the chance of significant snow events and an excellent alpine ski season. When frigid Siberian air crosses the Baltic or meets Mediterranean moisture, the result can be substantial snowfall across plains and valleys. Further south, effects are less direct. The Med can be stormier and wetter, or occasionally see unusual cold snaps and rare snow in low elevation areas. Expect swings between milder wet periods and short, sharp cold spells coming from the central continent. Start with your home. Check insulation, seal drafts, and service heating to keep warmth in and bills down. For travel, check antifreeze and batteries, fit winter tires if needed, and assemble a car kit with blanket, torch, charger, snacks, and a small shovel. Keep salt and sand handy. Clear gutters to avoid ice dams, and prepare for possible outages with candles, flashlights, spare batteries, and a power bank. Finally, embrace the season and make memories.